Hello everyone, my name is Anna. I'm from Niantic RT GeoGames Lab. Today I'm going to present our research, understanding social interactions in location-based games as hybrid spaces, coordination and collaboration in raiding in Pokemon Go. So what is hybrid space? Hybrid spaces is overlaying our physical spaces with a digital information layer. We're redefining our experience of social interactions, for example, collaboration and coordination. However, to date, we have little knowledge about how the new form social dynamics looks like. Location-based games, LBGs with social components, are a good case of the hybrid spaces. Among other location-based games, Pokemon Go is one of the most popular one, which is a multiplayer mobile location-based games worldwide and for all age groups. The game map overlaps the physical world. The virtual infrastructure is called gym, located at a real-world parks, parking lots, churchyard, etc., where users can play raid battles together. Raid battles is one of the most important features in Pokemon Go. Here's a short video to introduce how a group of players work together to defeat the monster. So basically, the power form of Pokemon is the boss in the gym, and a group of players need to gather together and to defeat the boss. So they need to form a strategy. They need to choose the appropriate Pokemon to use. So we can see there are two main social interactions in Pokemon Go raiding. The first part is coordination. So they need to team up with enough amount of gamers. The higher level of raid battles need more people to win. And the second is they need to show up at the same time where the egg hatches, and then they need to show up in the game place. And second part is the collaboration. So they need to discuss about the strategy together. They build the community together so they can exchange information, and also they make friends in the game and beyond the game context. Originally, all players had to gather near the gym's physical locations where raid battles occurred to raid. However, to alleviate the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, the company introduced remote raid passes in Pokemon Go on April 15th, 2020. So which means they are playing in a hybrid space right now. So the picture can explain the things better. Here, three boys are playing the game together, but they are in-person players. So their other remote players can join the game together. So they are from different cities, different countries, but they can all team up and play together. So here's a problem. How these the mixed groups of in-person players and remote players collaborate and coordinate together. And our methodology is to understanding social interactions in the hybrid space through understanding the collaborations and coordination in Pokemon Go hybrid raiding. We choose to use the online semi-structured interviews because we assume that our participants are from different countries, different cities. We cannot do the in-person ones. And also, we choose to use semi-structured interviews because it can give us a structure of the questions you ask, also give us the freedom to add on questions. And for data analysis, we choose to use semantic analysis method, which is a well-examined method to analyze the interview data, which can produce a theme map to structure our results in a meaningful way. And we recruit the participants from the Reddit or Pokemon Go. And we supplied a participation reward in the form of Pokemon Go gift code valued at $10. We allocated 60 one-hour slots for interview appointments and very luckily they were filled within 1 day. And in the end, 41 of them completed our interview, and 15 of them are female and 27 are male, aged from 20 to 65, live in 8 countries, with the majority lived in the US. For the semi-structured questions, we asked from these 3 aspects. First, their social demographic questions and their raiding experience. For example, what's the first time to raid, the frequency to raid, who they raid with, and second part is coordination and collaboration experience. We focus on how the new feature, the hybrid feature, influenced their raiding experience, what kind of issues they encountered, and how they handle them. And lastly, we asked about the expectations for social interactions in hybrid spaces. So then we have the data. So we use the Otter AI and NVivo to assist our analysis. We transcribe our interview data from audio to text and then manually correct all things. We imported the transcripts to NVivo and added memos where appropriate. And we create codes. So we conducted 2 circles of coding for all data separately with our second author. We use NVivo for the first circle and then patterned coding for the second circle. And finally, we find and refine themes. We constructed potential themes inductively by collocating relevant codes into these potential themes, and then the initial theme map was revisited and refined through discussions with the team. So the results. First, we found the new gaming style and social dynamics forms, which means that people are reading more frequently because they feel it's more convenient. And some people even restarted reading because they are curious about the new feature. And second, they feel that the hybrid reading did not change their game strategy, but they changed the feeling. Like when they remote reading, they are probably at home and they feel cools down a little bit. And choosing in-person rates or remote rates is really depends on the situation, like with whom, when, and where. For example, when they are reading in the late night for the safety concerns, they probably read at home as a remote player. And also, they found it's easier to find enough players under the hybrid rating feature because they can find international players. But coordination has become more difficult because they need to communicate with strangers online and join some international communities. Results, they encounter some issues. We summarize them as interoperability issues, which means they encountered issues when they exchange information, when they communicate with other players from online to offline, from local to international. And these issues challenge their collaboration and coordination social interactions. So because there's no in-game communication features, they have to use third-party applications, for example, the Facebook, Messengers, WhatsApp. So they need to swap in between apps, and which is multitasking and very painful. And secondly, they have to balance the communication between co-located players and remote players. When they talk to the in-person players, they probably forgot to text in the chats, so they feel bad when they left the remote players behind. And also, they will hesitate to group up with random online strangers online because they don't know their game levels, they don't know their collaboration behavior, so they do not have the confidence they can win the game. And finally, they feel happy to help others, they will happy to lead the team, but they do not find the feature to support its behaviors. So based on all the results, we suggest 3 things. First is we suggest adding new features to support in-person and remote experiences in location-based games, because this can benefit users with different needs and preferences. And secondly, we want to solve the interoperability issue. Communication in features should be incorporated into hybrid-based applications, where users should be able to exchange information transparently and seamlessly. And finally, is autonomy. So new features should be designed to support and stimulate leadership and mentor-mentee relationships. This can also be applied to non-gaming contexts such as hybrid education, for example, teaching and learning situations. And there are several limitations in our work. So first, because we recruited participants in a Reddit group, so they are more hardcore players, so we did not have the chance to listen from entry-level players and even non-gamer users. And also from previous research, we found the cultural background and gamers' personality can contribute to the different behaviors and social interactions in the hybrid space. So probably we need to look at the cultural backgrounds and gamers' personality impacts on the social interactions in the future work. And also, this time, we only use qualitative methods, so we can use quantitative methods to understand more about their cultural background, their game levels, and gamers' personality. And also, we can use some observational methods, for example, contextual inquiry. And lastly, we want to use some group methods, for example, focus group. We can invite a group of users who read it together before and how they look at the things together. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I'm very happy to take them.